Alrighty, good day to all you glorious Rascallian Resonators, you absolute lovely bastards. Name's FOXSOL, welcome back to the channel, and welcome to a video that is designed pretty much to address several things that is being said about me across YouTube. Whether it is, being labeled a hypocritical content creator to being the worst WutheringWaves content creator known to man, or whatever else you may have heard. While I will say this, while I acknowledge that many of my actions has been wrong, this video is not about proving my innocence in any which way, shape, form. I do take full responsibility for my actions. Honestly, I've already addressed this in many of my live streams, and I didn't think making this video was necessary. However, with these recent events resurfacing again, if you would, and with friends of mine just being attacked because of my actions as well as viewers, I feel like it's important to go ahead and address all of these actions that I have done, address them, and explain why I took the steps that I did. So it's all put together in one video for everybody out there to look at, and hopefully I will never have to discuss this again in detail. So let's go ahead, let's sit down, and let's talk about it. So starting off, first and foremost, I initially made a video critiquing GachaSmack's take on the Elusive Death Realms event, where pretty much he was arguing that it was unreasonable, if you would, for Kuro Games not to extend the event till the end of the patch, where he was blaming, it felt like, and from how I took it, it was Kuro's fault for not allowing enough time for the event to earn basically all the rewards. And the thing is that he had 32 days to complete all the event, which for typical people, we were doing that within like 1 to 2 days. If anything, we were doing it within like 3 or 4 hours, to be completely honest. And I pretty much also got upset and got irked with part of the video because he made the statement that, I'm going to ban anybody who pretty much goes against me. So if you're Kurobots come into my comment section to defend this, I'm banning you, which a lot of viewers, it should be okay, in my personal opinion, when it was this time, for viewers to, have different opinions like myself, and to threaten to ban someone, which is a viewer, your lifeblood to your channel, just because they don't agree with you. I made this video pretty much about it. From this, there was a man that was VxvFiction that responded to my video addressing my criticisms. He did provide some constructive feedback from his own videos, which he pointed out that a lot of my opinions, while some of it may be valid, the video itself came off to where it was just a rambling mess. And I took the feedback from these videos, this video that he made, and I made a follow-up video to it, acknowledging, Fiction's criticisms and accepting to saying, you know what, I feel you're correct about this, and I messed up, and let me, try to be more gentle, if you would, on the engagement of the delivery of my conversation. This led to later on where VxV did invite me on Discord, talk to me on Discord, and invited me to try to have a live stream discussion with him on his stream to his community, where I'll put it like this: I did not feel comfortable with that. And while I did respect the offer, I just felt like, honestly, the matter was largely resolved, if you would say. And I didn't see much value in continuing the conversation, especially on someone else's platform, about it. And though I haven't spoken to VxV since, I have no ill will towards him. From the little bit of interactions I've had with him, the guy seems to be really cool, a nice individual. However, I did have some concerns in the beginning because there has been people on my live streams, and there's been people who DM'd me beforehand that, about associated with him, which made me more hesitant in pursuing further conversations at the time, because I'm not sure who any of these CCs are, and I'm hearing several different things, so I just felt it was best to ignore it. So following this situation, we got into the part to where my channel started getting a little bit more traction with people coming into my live streams, more than, you know, having like 3 people at a time since the time I started the game in May. And we had people that started, you know, on my live streams showing me videos and asking me to do reactions to these videos from other WutheringWaves content creators such as Saintontas, where they wanted to get my opinion on this. And these videos that they're showing me often praise WutheringWaves. And while these videos were praising WutheringWaves, I found that a good portion of the video was a little bit overhyped, what a lot of people call as glazing. For example, Saintontas' videos often made valid points that I agreed pretty much 90% of the time on, but that 10% I thought was excessive. That other 10% was just something that I felt was framing WutheringWaves in a bad lighting to just be more of a hit piece, to basically say we do things better than GLYTCH Impact, rather than being more of an educational, you know, comparison video. It felt more like it was an attack video with that extra 10%. And I'll give you an example. Is like a lot of the videos he does is WUWA ruined whatever. And one of them, for example, WUWA ruined the exploration for all gacha games. Well, this is a video that came across very much as another hit piece, in my personal opinion, against WutheringWaves. While I do agree with his sentiments that, you know, WutheringWaves has a really great and strong exploration mechanic around it, the comparison really didn't feel like a comparison. The comparison that he was doing just seemed like it was aiming to criticize Genshin instead of spanning across multiple games such as like Tower of Fantasy, which Tower of Fantasy has a exploration system behind it as well that is it feels very good, I believe. And to me, this overpraising felt toxic, which was what we deemed to be called toxic positivity, as if creators were showing off their new girlfriend to their ex-girlfriend, pretty much, like to try to make them jealous. This is where I think it actually started inspiring me to change my content direction, aiming to try to be a more balanced and realistic portrayal of WutheringWaves, if you would. While I can, you know, trying to say, like, I emphasize that this game is great, but it's not perfect. Because originally I was also glazing WutheringWaves. And I just felt that there needed to be more of a objective opinion, if you would, rather than a biased one. So with all this happening and me changing my content, this led to a major disagreement that I have still to this day with Saintontas over a video that he has, which is called Gacha Revenue is a Scam, in which he's accusing Gacha Revenue for lying by omission. And to give a little bit of history on this is that GachaRevenue.com is a website that showcases all of pretty much the gacha revenue from public sectors, from information provided to it from Sensor Tower. And the person who puts this information together, his name is Numberlocks. And in my response video, which I have privatized, I was trying to defend the defamation I felt that Numberlocks was getting from this video. I argued that with this website, which pulls the data from Sensor Tower, was meant to provide accessible information, not deceive players as the video was portraying. Sensor Tower's, data inherently is a complex of full dynamics that comes from public information. There is disclaimers that is posted on Reddit by the Gacha administrator, as well as Numberlocks, who's doing it before, where it was meant to clarify how all this data should be interpreted, how they do everything. There was no lying by omission. Now, while on the website side of things, I will say that, you know, you have to click two things to get to an AFQ, and it's not actually just put there on the front website. I still felt that, you know, the initial impact of where this Gacha revenue report is designed for is to go to reddit.com under Gacha revenue to do its reports every month on the first of the month. And rather than blaming or defaming the person who's putting this together, I've really felt like Saintontas should have made a video that would have educated players about the nuisances of the reporting for their Gacha revenue, to explain to them that, you know, it is up to us as players to read these disclaimers because it is right there. Especially when you go pull up the October report, the September report, the August report of the Gacha revenue, there is a huge disclaimer that is right underneath the report that when you're scrolling down to go read to the comments, it's sticky, it's right there. And they have done, in my personal opinion, everything they can to be as transparent as possible of how this data is actually generated, how they actually calculate this. Saintontas' video, I just felt was not showing this part and led me to make that video. Now, from all this, I had a discussion with one of my viewers, you, who was a fan of both Saintontas and myself, and he reached out to me on my live stream. He suggested, very frankly, to facilitate a civil discussion between both me and Saintontas to help try to ease the tensions, because he felt like with WutheringWaves that the community was still too small to foster this kind of rebellious hate against, you know, fighting against two content creators. I thought about it and I agreed. I said, you know what? I think you're right. So I stated to you that I was willing and I was open to talking. He decided to go ahead and go out on his own to try to facilitate and to get this conversation going, which led me into a conversation with two admins from Saintontas' Discord that I'm not sure if my message is ever relay to Saintontas to say, hey, look, let's have this conversation, because like you pointed out to me that, you know, in some ways I may be taking a lot of what he's saying as completely a misinterpretation, that maybe having a conversation and talking together would better facilitate, right? And that's a good word to use, I think, to better facilitate a relationship that could be more understanding of each other's type of content. Because like I said, maybe I'm misinforming myself. Maybe I'm watching this and I'm just thinking of what his point is in a completely opposite direction than what he's trying to portray. And I agree. Later though, this viewer did come back to me. You came back to me and said that I needed to create an apology video, that he had spoken to Saintontas, and that before any discussion could happen, I would need to make an apology video for my disrespect to all the other content creators. While I acknowledge still to this day that some of my comments to the other content creators were disrespectful, I wanted to make it clear that I wasn't going to change my opinion about, you know, WutheringWaves. Like, I believe it is a great game. It's just not overly perfect like a lot of y'all portray. I want to keep my content still in the realistic world. You know, I want to still say, hey, look, this is still a problem. This is still a problem. They still got this bug. They still have optimization issues. But I will agree that I was disrespectful on my live streams a couple of times, and I agreed that I will apologize, which I did, for those disrespectful remarks. Even from all that, I wanted to try to show goodwill. I even, with the apology video that I created, I even made the video that I stated to Saintontas's, you know, the response video to Saintontas's Gacha revenue video. I took that video and I even privatized it. My goal was to try to extend the olive branch, to foster a better relationship with the CCs and within the community, to try to make things work better, if you would. While I didn't feel entirely justified in making that apology video the way I did, I just wanted to try and show face and to basically demonstrate that I am willing to move forward. I am willing to learn from the situation. I'm willing to talk, and I'm willing to listen. And yeah. So after that, another situation arose, and this is with Aithoma. Aithoma posted a video, which is his first video, criticizing me for being a hypocrite, citing that my use of a quote-unquote data mine content in my videos, despite publicly condemning leaks, made me a hypocrite. That I had made a video based on build information of Camellia that turned out to be data mine without really realizing it at the time. So over the course of time with my channel, I have been, especially with my live streams, have always made a statement that I don't condone leaks. But at the same point in time, these leaks are just coming out. Kuro hasn't really made a real effort at a time period because 1.0, I mean 1.1, 1.2, 1.3 was all leaked out. And each one of these leaks, you know, it's at first is like, I didn't blame Kuro, I blamed the leaker. Second time, I still blame the leaker. But when Shorekeeper came in, I started looking at Kuro going, can't they do something here? And then by the time Camellia stuff is starting to be leaked out, I pretty much was frustrated. I, you know, didn't think that Kuro was taking things seriously. And there's so many people that's stating so much information about Camellia. Some things are completely different than others with everybody, that I decided to look at the builds. I decided to look at the animations to be able to objectively come up with my own conclusion, because you're hearing this from every other source there is, and we looked at it. After this, Kuro Games, about what, a week later, makes a statement on Twitter and all their social media platforms condemning the leaks and promising action as well as taking responsibility. These are the videos that after this posting was made, I praised their efforts. They're not just trying to stop leaks, you know, with just the leakers. They're trying to stop leaks, it sounds like, from the source that would present, you know, that would prevent misrepresentation of this game. This was the entire context of what transpired in live streams that was not showcased in this video. Because of this, I had attempted to reach out to Aithoma, even through mutual connections that I had, to discuss the issues, but we got responses that said that I could talk to FOXSOL, but I don't think I will. And pretty much saying he was not interested in speaking to me, because this was a person that I have never met, I have never spoken to ever before, who's making a video that I do believe is taking a lot of what I'm doing out of context. And I wanted to reach out to him, whether it be on private, whether it be on his own platform, however he wanted to do it, just to have the conversation to say, okay, I did this. Can you explain to me where I'm going wrong? Didn't get a response. We let it be after that and said, okay. So this then led to a second video from Aithoma to be posted a couple of days later, stating that I have ruined my YouTube career. It was a video that really was targeting more against my gotcha revenue response video. It used clips from content that I and my viewers and other people who've seen it that was just out of context, which I felt painted a misleading and negative picture of me. It really felt like it was defaming who I was, because the conversation of that video was like 18 minutes and you're only showcasing a 2-minute part in it, and you're making a statement around it, and it's portraying me in a bad light, where the entire context of that video was something completely different. Again, I attempted to contact him through both myself and other people to discuss both videos and to try to clarify my stance with him, but again, we got screenshot messages that was given back to me to where he declined, saying that he had no reason to talk to me. This is what led me feeling frustrated and even emotional, if you would. I had consulted with YouTube support, who advised me as well to file a copyright strike against the video for unauthorized use of my content, because to them even did not seem to be used in fair use. While it was a distasteful moment for me, I did file that copyright strike. And after a couple of hours of filing a copyright strike, Aithoma reached out to me, asking me to remove it. Despite the previous attempts of me trying to engage with him, I did agree. I lifted the strike under the condition to basically respect my content and to not use it without my permission in the future. We had this conversation, as you can see, to where, he's even stated that, I should have talked to him first before filing the copyright strike. But like I stated, we tried. I tried. I had other people that tried. We just could not get a hold of him because he would refuse. So after all this, I even offered him a direct conversation on Discord, to basically grill me, and to where it would be something he could record, put on his platform, but he declined due to technical issues, basically saying that, with legal constraints of not being able to use Discord in his country, and with his internet, I guess, being poor, that he would drop out 9% of the time, that he couldn't actually have a VC call to do this, which I understood. Even then, I pretty much, we had the conversation. He asked me if I wanted the videos removed, to which I did state that I would like the videos removed, but I understand that if you don't want to remove the videos, I'm okay with it, which he did state that, digital footprint was a thing for him, and that he was going to keep the videos up, which I understood. The videos have a good bit of views, and we'll let it be. So since these events, I've addressed this situation multiple times publicly on my streams, and I have taken, I believe, the accountability for these mistakes. However, I will state that I have noticed a troubling trend, especially with my viewers and with other content creators that I am friends with, that are just being targeted for simply being associated with me. While I do know and I do believe that a lot of my actions was wrong, this video here isn't trying to, come out and prove my innocence. In fact, I'll be honest, I didn't even think that this video was really needed to be made to begin with. But again, with these recent events of being resurfaced, and with content creators and friends of mine pretty much being attacked, I just felt it was best to go ahead and make this video and talk about everything and address all my actions as a whole, and just why I took the steps that I took. Whether people, accept it or they don't accept it, whether they like me or they don't like me, this video is not made for anything else but just to talk about it and just to ask very nicely. My actions are my actions alone. I don't believe that the other people that is associated with me deserves the attacks that they're getting. And I hopeful-heartedly express and hope that maybe after this video, with maybe even other CCs and other viewers, maybe within the community itself, we could just have a conversation and move on from this. I don't want you to not punish me. I don't want you to think that, you know, I'm making this video for you to stop hating on me. It's more the fact that I want to stop one side, which is just the viewers and the other content creators, from being attacked because, you know, we're associated with one another. I just want to have a adult conversation, professional, and see if we can't work things out. And that way, hopefully, I can be better in the future. So with all that, I mean, I really have nothing else. So if you would, let's talk.